All right, everyone, we are live. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? How are we doing? Okay, looking good on my end. Looking good on YouTube Studio. Okay, so we got some stuff to talk about right now, don't we? So Seahawks lose 17 nothing. Offense deserved every last bit of that shutout. Defense deserved much better than what they got out there today. So we got a lot to parse through, but to me, the big story coming out of this game has to be Russell Wilson. He played a miserable game. He played one of the worst games, maybe the worst game I've ever seen him play. And I think that the game was so bad and the game was so distinctly unrelated to the finger in some ways that there's nothing to do but conclude that the Russell Wilson era in Seattle is coming to an end. His finger led to some bad throws. It did. And that sucked. And that is something that that makes you wonder if he should have been out there or not, but that was expected. But what I cannot handle is the bad mental decisions. The two times in this game he threw up a prayer into the end zone for an easy interception into double coverage when there were opportunities to do other things to secure points. So, bottom line is, the main thing for me is after this game, I feel like I need to pick a side here. And the side that I have picked is that Wilson, it's time to do something different there. That was embarrassing. That was pathetic. And for him to play that poorly in that game, in that moment, at that time, with all this stuff on the line, I have to believe now that he's just never going to get it. So that's the main takeaway for me. The offensive line was bad, but not unexpectedly so. And honestly, I think it started to get a little better as the game went on. But the offensive line was pretty bad. The play calling, we did abandon the run more than we needed to, possibly. However, I would like to remind everyone that the Packers were missing Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith, meaning that their weaknesses were in pass defense. So you need to be able to attack that. And Wilson was ultimately unable to do that. And that probably was a part of the reason why we threw the ball so much. We probably should have run the ball a little more than we did. I would agree with that. But I don't think the play calling is as bad as some people think. And this defense played excellent today. This defense was excellent. This defense looks like they're ready to go make a run at things. Unfortunately, there's the other side of the ball. And they are going to personally see to it that this team does not. That this team does not make a run at things. So, I'm going to go ahead and start opening things up to comments and questions in the chat. Now, before I do, though, looks like we've got about 60 people in the stream right now. I know we're going to pick up more as the night goes on, but thank you to everybody who's come out for the first part of this stream. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. As you can see, we are about 225 subscribers short of our November goal. Got to pick it up here. So if you are new and you like Seahawks content, please sub. Become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. We are like 5 members away from another emoji. We have a membership goal for November. We need 5 or 6 more. Please consider becoming a member if you haven't yet. Very reasonably priced. And finally, super chats will show up in the tip jar to the left of me and are always appreciated and help keep this channel going. I will be streaming until the end of the Sunday Night Football game. I will reply to as many comments as I can, but I cannot reply to every comment because we're going to be getting a lot, especially tonight. So if you have a comment that you really want me to see, then if you send it in as a super chat, then I am guaranteed to see it, read it, and respond to it. Other than that, you just have to hope it works out. Channel members are somewhat more likely to have their comments read. And I think that's about it. So let's just go ahead and get underway here. How do we play like that after coming off a bye? It doesn't seem like the bye mattered. And in fairness, the big part of the problem was Wilson, who he's had more than a bye. He's had a month off. So some teams don't respond well to the bye week, honestly. Why is Russ regressing? Because teams understand how he plays now and he's not adjusting. Like, there was that play, the second interception to the Packers defense. What was that? I can't remember who picked it off, but it was to Lockett. Got picked off. He has two guys underneath open. Could have gotten a first down. Could have kept the drive going. Could have kept the game alive, but instead he just chucks it to the end zone in double coverage to a small receiver. Watching Creed Humphrey dominate makes me sick to my stomach. Yeah, that's not going well for us, is it? What was up with that, by the way? Dwayne Eskridge comes back and you don't use him? Like, what's the point? Like, I would be at peace with the Eskridge pick if you would just try to use him, but he gets one play? What the hell? Yeah, Jamal played good. Trey Brown played pretty good today, too. I think everybody on the defense except for Dunlap played good, pretty much. Maybe Wagner, but a lot of his bad stuff came when it was really late, and he was probably exhausted. Amos had that INT, thank you. Wilson went woke a couple years ago and hasn't been the same since. I mean, I know that that's not the reason why he's playing bad, but it does annoy me more when he plays bad. Hey, if you recall, Brendon, I said that Jamal would get a pick in your stream last night. Yeah. Hey, it was a good play. Good for him. I can't believe we wasted it. What a waste. By the fourth quarter of this game, I think this defense just kind of laid down because they were like, what's the point? We're going to get a stop, and then our offense is going to do nothing. Do we trade our talent, DK, Russ, Lockett, for future high draft picks to make up for the Adam trade? You definitely trade Russ. I think we have to trade Russ at this point. DK, maybe, but I would say no. Lockett, you cannot trade. Lockett is not on the table to be traded. That's no. Just no. Do you have faith in the current scouting department to rebuild? No, I don't have faith in them to do anything. They haven't drafted well in 8 years. Why have superstar players on your team when you're going to treat every player the same? Yeah, the Packers didn't have Jair Alexander today, and you still can't get the ball to receivers. I don't know what to do except be furious at Wilson for that. And if you want to get mad at Waldron too, fine, but I don't know what you can do when your quarterback is playing that terribly. Yeah, Jake, I don't think Waldron did terrible today. Maybe he didn't do good, but even if he did do terrible, we knew what we were getting into. You guys know the story that the Indian tells in Natural Born Killers about the rattlesnake? We knew what Shane Waldron was when we hired him. He was a rookie. He had never called plays before. You can't expect him to just hit the ground running. He's going to have some good games, some bad games. You got to live with it. But today, I don't know what he's supposed to do when his quarterback can't complete a 5-yard pass to Lockett wide open. Yeah, Trey Brown's legit. Yeah, I feel so bad for the defense today. And usually I'm not a big fan of this kind of stuff, but like you gotta give them some TOP. That's why we needed to go for it on third down late in that game, remember? Or excuse me, early in that game. We had fourth down and an inch and fourth down and 3. Go for it. Do something to try to turn the time of possession around. What do you think the atmosphere of the team is like now in the locker room? I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, honestly, if this keeps up, Wilson's not going to have trade value. He might not be able to demand a trade because nobody's going to want to touch that. Wilson for Herbert. Chargers wouldn't do that. Yeah, Metcalf needs to cool off, but here's my thing, guys. He's young. I'm not alarmed about it yet. He needs to chill out. He needs to knock it off. But I acknowledge that he's young and he's probably going to figure this stuff out eventually. but I would rather him figure it out here than figure it out somewhere else. Well, Brooke Gibbs, I think we're trying to. Remember, most of the playbook is still from Schottenheimer. Remember that, guys, because we didn't have enough time to implement a full new offense, which is reasonable. So we're still using a lot of the old plays. That's just what happens when you bring in a brand new offensive coordinator. How many years are left in Russ's contract? 2 after this. The Seahawks need a third receiver. Swain is not it. Well, hopefully Eskridge will be it, but I don't even know how much he played today. He got the ball once and it didn't work. Did Eskridge get on the field beyond that one play? Defense was gold, kept Rodgers to 3 points until the fourth quarter. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but I don't understand people who expect the world of this defense in this situation. They did everything they could. What else can you ask for? Rashad Penny was active. I don't think he played. The deep ball to Eskridge? I don't even remember that. I think the defense has been really bad in a game or two so far this year, but not today. I mean, and in general, like, what are you going to do when the offense can't stay on the field? 2 snaps? Wait, Seahawks analysis, is that an actual stat? Did he actually only play 2 snaps today? Is that just you saying that he only got targeted twice, or that he only literally played 2 snaps? Because I could believe either one. If Eskridge only played 2 snaps today, then why even activate him? If you're not going to use him, then just deactivate him. What's the point? What's the point of giving somebody 2 snaps? Oh my god. It's like when we gave Alton Robinson 1 snap in a game. Stop. Just stop. Yeah, Micah, I saw that. Now, DK still could have caught it, but that was not a good throw at all. That was a terrible throw. Wilson should have hit him right in the gut. Brooke Gibbs, it seems like those are not good throws for Wilson. Everett played a good game, yeah. Yeah, I've been on the fence about this, but I think I gotta commit. Wilson needs to go. I'm done with it. I've kind of, like I said in my video, I've kind of been of the position that, like, well, we're probably going to have to trade Wilson, but I don't want to, and maybe we can find a way to make it not work. I don't want to do that anymore. Because at this point, I think there's a real chance you can rebuild all the way and get a good coach, get a good coordinator, get a good this and that, and then you build your defense, build your offensive line, and then you get to that point where it's on Wilson again, and then you go, oh, right, Wilson can't make these routine throws, and he's not good enough. So I'm ready for Wilson to get out of here. It doesn't matter who you replace him with, Danny H. Just get some guy off the street for a year, and then in 2023, you should have really good draft capital from the Wilson trade. You'll have an opportunity to trade for, draft somebody high. Austin Roberts, thank you for the member message. Burn the whole thing to the ground. Yeah, I'm there now too, man. Don't honestly, don't even ask yourself that question. Don't play the, oh, if we lose Wilson, who are we going to get game, okay? It doesn't matter. The only question that matters is Wilson good enough to be the driving force behind a Super Bowl champion? And I think right now I have to conclude the answer is no. The rest doesn't matter. And by the way, guys, this game did no favors for our offseason plan. Okay? Because the odds of us trading Wilson and keeping Carroll just went through the roof. Like, you guys think that Carroll isn't going to be pointing towards this defensive effort to say, hey, I did my job. It's not my fault Wilson sucks. You think he's not going to be saying that even if the ownership goes to him like, hey, what the hell's going on? You think there isn't a real good probability that Wilson leaves this offseason and Carroll stays? Which, I mean, I'm pretty done with Wilson right now. That is still the worst case scenario. I'm going to talk about the black pill this week, and it's a very timely time to talk about the black pill. That was a black pill kind of game. Defense plays out of their mind, and Wilson sucks so bad it doesn't matter. Why do you think the Seahawks went away from the game plan they had right out of the half? I mean, eventually some of the plays you run are going to work. That doesn't necessarily mean that everything's great. Like seriously, guys. I mean, I'm pretty down on Wilson right now. I don't believe in him right now, but I do not want to have an offseason where he leaves and Carroll stays. That's still just the worst case. Carroll won one Super Bowl with the most talented team of this millennium, probably. He had the most talent of any team this millennium, and he barely won one Super Bowl. Oh, there were a lot of positives, no, bro. There were a lot of positives in this game. All of them on the defense, pretty much, but there were positives. Danny H., welcome to Basic Membership. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you on board, Danny H. Appreciate it. I think we need like 4 or 5 new members to get to another emoji. So for those of you in the chat who have been holding out, now's the time. Yeah, Mufuzz. I mean, you can't do worse than what Wilson did today. You can't do worse than 0 points and 2 end zone interceptions. Geno should have played. Austin Roberts, thank you for the $2 super chat. Burn it all to the ground. Whatever is left is left. Exactly. A few things are going to survive. Darrell Taylor. Probably Damian Lewis, although he's not playing well right now. Michael, maybe we can, but I don't really want to see this team in the playoffs right now. I don't want to see this team in the playoffs is the thing. Like, you want to see this team get into the playoffs and then score 3 points on offense through the first 50 minutes? Jance Peters, you don't know that. You don't know that. The Patriots not cut, but let Tom Brady walk less than 2 years ago, and they're already pretty good again. Like, they're probably going to make the playoffs this year. And Wilson isn't even 10% of Brady. Not even close. There's no comparison there. And they're good again after a couple years. They had one bad season. Yeah, Geno maybe could have won that game. I don't know. At this rate, if Wilson keeps playing like this, he's going to lose his trade value, and then we're really screwed. Like, imagine if we can't get 2 first-round picks. Yeah, okay, Michael, that's true. That's possible, but why even right now, why I just don't think there's any point of even talking about it. Like, if it happens, awesome. If we actually win out, run the table, go to the playoffs and make a run, then awesome. But I'm just going to sit back and let it happen. I'm not really going to talk about it because it just makes me sound ridiculous right now. Right, guy, thank you for the 4.99. This team looks like they can't tie their own cleats without adult supervision. They're not making the playoffs. You know, the thing is, it is possible this team makes the playoffs without beating anybody good and then loses like 41-10 in the first round. And I'm not interested in that. Sorry, that's not good enough for me. The difference is they have Bill Belichick and we have Pete Carroll or another coach. Their organization has structure and we don't. Okay, then blow up the organization. Get everything out of here, including Wilson. Don't get me wrong. I want Carroll out of here more than Wilson, but he's got to go too. I can't do this no more. Wilson is a Hall of Famer for sure. He's coming off his first injury ever for Seattle and Green Bay during a snowstorm. None of that had anything to do with him throwing those interceptions to into double coverage. Okay, none of that has anything to do with him lobbing the ball right to Kevin King in the end zone when we finally have a little bit of positive momentum. Injuries have nothing to do with that. That's just him being stupid at the worst possible moment. Yeah, I mean, bottom line is the guy who makes $35 million a year can't be the one who's blowing these games. If it's the offensive line, then okay, I get that. If it's the defense because of Norton and Carroll, then I get that, but it can't be Wilson can't be the guy. It's supposed to be these other things. Jake, I think it happens all the time, but it usually happens because the entire organization cleans house. Yeah, DK needs to chill out, but I don't know. I'm willing to blow that off as him just being kind of young and he needs to grow up. I'd rather him grow up here than grow up somewhere else, though. Hazik, this is not something that came out of nowhere. I've been talking about Wilson getting traded for a while. Believe me. Anybody who thinks that all this anti Wilson stuff comes from this one game is not paying attention. Just, that's stupid. Wilson kind of blew the Titans game earlier this year. Wilson blew games last year, like the Giants game, the Rams playoff game, the first Rams game in the regular season last year. Like, believe me, this has been going on for a while. I mean, I will say this. I don't mind. I mean, DK, like DK needs to chill out. Whatever, whatever. I wish we did have more guys who cared a little bit. Like he's got a little bit of Des Bryant in him, and I'm willing to live with that a little bit. Like you're gonna deal with some crap from time to time, sure, but that's part of the DK Metcalf experience. Um, hopefully he chills out. I mean, Dunlap threw the shoe, which I guess is a penalty. So I mean, he did it. It's not like somebody else threw the shoe. I don't know what there is to say about that penalty. I think the offensive line played all right in the second half, but the first half was pretty brutal. The first half, I wasn't really that upset at Wilson. I was like, okay, he's missing some stuff, but it's the finger. I think DK now has 4 drops this season or something like that. So he had 2 today and 2 against the Niners, and I think that's it. I kind of feel like right now there's nobody in this organization who can get in Wilson's face and yell it and scream at him. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but okay, real quick here. Austin, thank you for the $5. I don't want to make the playoffs, rather lose. I don't want to get in only to get whipped. If we make playoffs, everyone stays and we run it back. Maybe. If we get in with an 8-9 record and get blown out by 40 points in the first game, I think we probably still get rid of some people. But there is some validity to that. But my attitude at this point is just I'm going to see what happens. I'm not going to talk about this team making the playoffs. If it happens, great. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, we shouldn't even be talking about it. But anyway, okay. Ghost, thank you for the $2 or $1.99. Pete says Wilson couldn't snap under center. Yeah, I saw that. That's reasonable. I don't mind doing shotgun heavy offense, but it is indicative of the possibility that he should not have been out there. I don't know. I can go either way on that one, but after the fact, we can safely say he should not have been out there. Okay, like, I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but like 10 years ago, there was a Patriots game. I think it was against the then Redskins, who, Brady did something stupid. He did something bad that hurt the team, and they showed on the sideline Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady screaming at each other. Josh McDaniels was getting his face like, if you do that again, I'm going to kick your ass. Just absolutely brutalizing Tom Brady. Like, you stupid mofo, I'm going to kill you if you ever do that again. Just absolutely going at him. Absolutely verbally slaughtering Tom Brady. Tom Brady's getting back up in his face, too. Like, get the out of my face, you dumb mother. Like, you know, they're just basically about ready to throw hands. And that's Tom Brady. Does anybody on this team have it in them to do that with Russell Wilson? Would Russell Wilson ever have that happen to him? Does anybody on this team have permission, have power to get in Russ's face and be like, you messed up. If you mess up again, I'm going to beat your ass after this game? And you know, if it has to be another player, then that's fine. But it should be the coaches. It should be Carroll. It should be Waldron. Should be his QB coach, whose name I forget. Yeah, Josh McDaniels. I'm not a big fan. It seems like he's an a-hole, but that's not terrible. And Brady at that point in time had won 3 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs. So if Brady can get yelled at, anybody can get yelled at. Right now, I don't feel like anybody's gonna get in Wilson's face and tell him that you're messing up, get your shit straight or else. But if look, oh Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Doug Baldwin used to get in Russell's face. Yeah, he did. He did. But ideally, it's a coach. It's not just a player. Ideally, the coaches would be doing that, but that's not the way Pete does things. Pete's a player's coach. He's soft on the players. And I think that's part of the problem right now. No, Rye Guy, that was not Bill O'Brien. That was definitely Josh McDaniels. I just feel like there's nobody to hold people accountable right now, Michael. That's what I'm saying. And it's not enough to know that you did bad. You also need to not do bad in the first place. Was it Bill O'Brien? I could have sworn it was Josh McDaniels. I mean, when Brady messes up, he knows that he messed up, but his coaches have never been afraid to yell at him. So that seems to have worked pretty well for Brady's teams. So I don't see why anybody needs to be immune. I love Kellen Moore, Jordan M. He's one of my favorites. I'm a big Kellen Moore fan. No, I'm still a Trevor Lawrence fan. I mean, DK does need to find the right way to channel this stuff, but I'd rather him figure that out while he's here than figure it out on another team. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, Dwayne Brown's just washed. But okay, I didn't know Dwayne Brown was going to be washed this year, but I'm just some guy on my computer. Pete Carroll's making $12 million a year. He should be able to he should be monitoring these things, and he should have a feel for when somebody's about to be washed up and move on before it happens. Like get that's another thing. Like you're supposed to be able to figure this stuff out. Nobody's getting benched on this team, man. He's not going to bench anybody. He still likes these guys. He still believes in these guys, Carroll. Carroll's not going to bench these guys. He doesn't want the players to get mad at him. The only guy he'll bench is Trey Flowers because Trey Flowers calls out his schemes. He'll bench Trey because Trey calls out his crappy scheme. That's it. What other QB would you want aside from Russ? Anybody. Just next year's a rebuilding year, and then you get your quarterback of the future next off season, not this one. Our next quarterback is somebody I may have not heard of right now. It doesn't matter. Next year is going to be a blow up year anyway. I like Chris Peterson, but I don't think he's going to be interested in coming back to. I don't think he's going to be interested in coming back to coaching right now. Lewis to center next year. I really don't want to jerk that guy around. Like I don't know what to do with. This is the stupid thing. We got to stop moving people around. Just play them at their best position. We keep doing this over and over and over again, and it's just a disaster. That happens all the time in the NFL, though, David. I remember we've had players who do crap like that. Oh my God, this Raiders receiver is the biggest dump. Was that Deshaun Jackson? Did Deshaun Jackson just do that? Please tell me that's Deshaun. Turn around, turn around. Please be Deshaun Jackson. Yes, it's Deshaun Jackson, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that just made my night. That just made my night right there. Daniel, I don't think re-signing Quandre Diggs makes a whole lot of sense, but I'm not completely immune to it. No, Jake, he just didn't see the open guy. Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of sad they made that announcement in the middle of the game. but because I wanted to make a video about it and I couldn't because I was watching the game. But yeah, that's good too. Android full life. Why would we keep somebody or praise somebody because of something they did in the past if they're not getting it done now? Like, what? Are we going to have Wilson in 20 years? He's going to be some 53-year-old man starting a quarterback for us because he was good for us a long time ago? No. Once somebody starts to turn, you move on from them. That's how this works. This is a business. It's 1 year of bad games. Okay, but why are the bad games happening? Are they all just flukes? Are they all just bad luck? Or is he getting older and losing his game and teams have adjusted to what he does? Deshaun Jackson just did a really, 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 really dumb fumble. I don't know what to think of Justin Fields. I kind of liked him coming out of college. I don't really like him now. What do you think about the play calling tonight? We got away from the run a little too much, but other than that, I think it was okay. I mean, it's hard to call plays when your quarterback can't complete a forward pass. Why do I hate Deshaun Jackson? Because he's a dumbass. Yeah, Ghost. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the people who don't want to move on from Russ are just afraid of rebuilding, and I get it. Like, rebuilding is not always fun and it doesn't always work, but we're going to have to do it eventually. Why should we have to sit here for years and watch a bad product before we know it's time to rebuild? One thing I notice with fans of the Seahawks sometimes is they're obsessed with squeezing every last drop of blood out of something. KJ Wright's a good example. I said this offseason, last offseason, I wanted to move on from KJ Wright. I wanted to get some youth in there. And people were like, I think he has one good season left. We should bring him back. But my thing is like, okay, let him go have that one more good season somewhere else. Let's try to get something else here that is new, that is younger, that has more upside, that is cheaper, that can actually be here for the next 8 to 10 years, not just one more year. It's, you don't have to squeeze every last drop of blood. Like, you're so scared that, oh, we're going to lose this guy and he's going to go somewhere else and be good. Okay, let him go somewhere else and be good, and then you get something else that is also good. Like, maybe Russell Wilson is going to go somewhere else and win Super Bowls. Okay. Well, he's not winning Super Bowls here. So let him go somewhere else and win Super Bowls. Let's get something else here that can win us Super Bowls. Because we haven't been close in like 7 years. Sometimes it's good to be stubborn, but there are times when you have to not hold on to every decent player you have with a death grip. As far as I'm concerned, the last really good season we had was 2015. It's been a while. Yeah, I saw Reed got a sack tonight, finally. Like, people say that we miss KJ Wright because we can't stop screen passes. Okay, teach somebody else to stop screen passes. Because what's the logic there? Is the plan just to let KJ Wright play here until he's 50? Because he's the only guy in the universe we have who can stop screens? No, get somebody else who can stop screens. Teach someone else to be able to do it. And if you can't, then get out of here. Is Shane Waldron bad or the Hawk system? I definitely can't say Shane Waldron is bad at this point in time. Hazik, there's no way to know that. There are teams that rebuild in a year or 2 years constantly. That's the worst case scenario. Yeah, Michael, but the thing is, that team went into the playoffs red hot. That team was on fire. I remember going into the playoffs that year thinking this team is good enough to win a Super Bowl. I have not thought that about any Seahawks team since. We either go into the playoffs and I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll win a game, maybe we won't, but we're not winning no damn Super Bowl. Or we didn't make the playoffs, period. Like, 2019 was good, but we went into the playoffs basically crawling, and we barely beat the Eagles practice squad in the playoffs. And then I mean, we gave the Packers a decent game, I guess, but I didn't believe that team was going to. I never thought that team was a contender. Okay, Mad Max, maybe Russ isn't the problem, but he's not the solution. He's not the solution. We probably did try to get OBJ, and then he decided I don't want to play under Pete Carroll with an offense that is, being run by a quarterback with a bad finger. There were a lot of things. Yeah, Michael, but we still limped into the playoffs. And some of the things that I thought were going to be things we could lean on going into the future, I don't know about. Like, is Damian Lewis that good? Maybe not. Maybe Damian Lewis is just another guy. Maybe that rookie year was a fluke. Maybe he's not a foundational piece. Maybe I was wrong about him. That's another thing that sets us back. Android for life. Do you root for the Seahawks with the final goal of seeing them win the division? They beat up on a very easy schedule and then got dog walked in the playoffs. Yeah, Ian Mills. The way Wilson played today, he doesn't. Yeah, he should not have been out there, clearly. Ipso facto. Is there any QBs you like in this upcoming draft? I kind of like Pickett, but I'm not crazy about any of them. But it doesn't matter. Like, trade for Daniel Jones, and then maybe Daniel Jones ends up being good for you. And even if he doesn't, then you can look again in 2023. There are going to be other good quarterbacks. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Wilson regression looks like Rodgers back in 2019. I think it looks worse. At least Rodgers was in control. At least Rodgers was in control of the game then. He wasn't putting up big numbers, but he stayed in control. Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $10. After such an embarrassing outing on offense and the fact it's been inconsistent at best this year, in my opinion, it's time to pop that red pill and take it for a trip. Yeah, I have always been a red pillar, but I have acknowledged the benefit of the white pill, but I think the white pill is becoming it's becoming a pipe dream. Like, even if Wilson is as good as you people think, he's obviously not good enough to overcome Pete Carroll. That's the thing. However good, maybe Wilson is the third best or second best quarterback in the league. But however good he is, he's not good enough to overcome Carroll. And that's the important part. That's why he has to go. Byron Thompson, welcome to the channel. Yeah, people who don't want to rebuild, people who don't want to rebuild, they get caught up in all the negative examples, like the Browns and the All these teams that tried to rebuild and it didn't work. The Jets. What about the good examples, guys? There are tons of good examples. Teams soft rebuild and hard rebuild and have it work great all the time. Get rid of Pete. Yeah, okay, you can get rid of Pete, but all of his players are still here. Okay? All of his players are still here. Some of them have crippling contracts that you cannot move off of. So even if you move on from Pete Carroll is still here. You can't just fire Pete Carroll and Pete Carroll's gone. Pete Carroll is every single player and every single coach on this team because Pete Carroll brought them in and Pete Carroll trained them. Pete Carroll taught them. Pete Carroll developed them. It's going to take a while to get rid of that. And by the time you do all that, Wilson will probably be like 36. Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $5. Wilson hasn't been able to pick up a new offense and show he can use it. He keeps falling back on deep shot. New coach won't fix it. That's kind of where I am right now. John Sheridan, thank you for the $2. Russ got to get out of here. This team is trash. Even if Wilson is as good as you guys think, then, I mean, why isn't this team making deep playoff runs anymore? If Wilson is that good, then the rest of this team must just be that bad, and you're not going to be able to fix a team that bad instantly. Or it's almost impossible. Which teams have soft rebuilt? The Packers are a pretty good example. They got rid of McCarthy and pulled in a new head coach and immediately started peeling off 13-win seasons. Like who, what, Hazik? You talking about teams that have rebuilt? The Rams did it really successfully after they fired Fisher. The Eagles did it after firing Chip Kelly. A good coach can make those players better. You have to find a coach who's willing to coach all those same players, though. No guarantee. You're going to pull in a really I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you hire somebody like a Kellen Moore to be your head coach, he's going to look at some of these players and go, I don't want these players. Get them out of here. And then you have a long process to replace them. Maybe you can find a head coach willing to work with all these players, but odds are good that coach is not going to be that desirable. What do you think happens to Bobby? I hope to God that he's either gone next year or making a lot less money next year. He's not worth anywhere near what he's making, and I can't have that no more. Well, yeah, David, but the Packers have genuinely been good for the last few years. Yeah, I would love Shanahan. Shanahan would actually work great. I would be all over hiring Shanahan. He might even be able to fix this Wilson stuff a little bit, but I don't know. I'm starting to believe that the Wilson stuff can't really be fixed the way that I was thinking. Yeah, Brooks played okay. I mean, Hazik, I could list a lot more examples. Those are just recent examples. The Patriots are doing a rebuild right now. The Cowboys did a rebuild in the late 80s, and then they won 3 Super Bowls. Rebuilds happen. The more you can control the process of the rebuild, the better. I've been saying it with Bobby all season. I think he lost the will to play and compete. I don't think it's a lack of effort, but I'm sorry that Bobby Wagner has not forced a turnover in nearly 2 calendar years. You're making all that money, and you have 0 forced turnovers in the last 2 calendar years? Get out of here. Not really the Berg show. I don't care what position you play. I don't care if you're playing every snap for 2 calendar years on defense, over 1,000 snaps a season, then you better force some turnovers or else give me all that money back. Do you trust Jody with the process of the rebuild? All Jody has to do is hire a football mind and then get out of the way. And Jody Allen is perfectly capable of doing that. Jody Allen doesn't even like football. Just hire somebody who does know football and then go count the money. That's what most owners do, by the way. I mean, that's not unreasonable. I know Seahawks Productions. It's so disappointing. Okay, Matt C, but why is that okay? Lambeau Field is always a killer for Seattle. Okay, well, here's a game where this defense actually plays great and gives you a chance after chance after chance to win. Why is it okay for you to suck and lose because Lambeau is your kryptonite? Like, make it not your kryptonite. Like, that's such a weak excuse. What do you think of firing Pete, bringing in Gruden? That'd be funny, but no. Yeah, tell Jody Allen to hire somebody who knows football, and then she'll just get out of the way. She's not like Jerry Jones. She doesn't want to butt in on everything. She just wants to hire somebody to make all the decisions. Did you not notice how bad our line is? Okay, but Wilson makes the line look worse than they are because he moves around moves around beyond the pocket a lot, and he holds onto the ball forever. It's a it's a self-affirming cycle. It's it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't think so, Ian Mills. And like, okay, if you bring Wilson back next year, who's going to be his left tackle? Because I can only think of one guy in the universe who I think should be his left tackle, and it's Teron Armstead. So either you break the bank for Teron Armstead or you're effed. You're effed. I know, Green 80. I wasn't I wasn't a big Creed Humphrey fan, but right now it's clear who's helping his team win more. Yeah, I agree, but the NFL doesn't care about anything that the only way the NFL would care is if a lot of people stopped watching. Like that Cassius Marsh roughing the passer or taunting call. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The Cassius Marsh taunting call last week. The NFL just keeps defending it and defending it and defending it because it's not going to cost them any money to defend it. What are you talking about, the real Daryl? We had the most expensive offensive line in the league when we won the Super Bowl. We got away from it recently. Oh, fake punt. Oh, snap. There we go. Yeah, boy. I know, Ian Mills. He did. Okay. Looks like the Chiefs about to put this sucker away. I mean, in my football watching lifetime, look at the Eagles. They were bad. Then they rebuilt around Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb. And then they did a soft rebuild around Michael Vick. And then they did another full rebuild around Chip Kelly. Then they did another rebuild around Doug Peterson. And now they're doing another like this is a team, by the way, that has won many playoff games, made many playoff runs, and won a Super Bowl in my lifetime. So you can get caught up in the negative examples if you want to, but there are positive examples. Yeah, the refs can eat my butt, but I can't even get tripping on that. Okay, we've been streaming for like an hour now, and we've got about 150 people in here. So I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out to the stream tonight and supporting the channel. If you haven't already, please like the stream. We've got like 51 likes, so a lot of you guys haven't liked it yet. Would appreciate the support. Subscribe. We have like 223 subs left to go to get to our November goal. Become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. We need 4 or 5 more members for the goal. I think it's 5 because we lost one. But yeah, and super chat. Super chats are appreciated. They show up in the tip jar to my left and help keep the channel going, and also guarantees that I see your comment. What's your preferred realistic trade destination for Wilson? Probably Philly. I kind of regret signing Tyler Lockett. I can go either way on that one. Okay, no problem, Green. Thank you. Yes, Jake, I will stream probably Persona, but not 100% sure what, but I almost definitely will stream something. Oh my god, what a catch. What a catch by a running back. Maybe the Berg show, but that's none of my business. No, it was Damian Williams. Have you watched the Kraken play? A little bit, yeah. No, I'm not doing hot tub tonight. I thought about getting one of my dad's beer bottles and filling it with water and drinking out of it during this stream, but it would have been pretty obvious, so I decided not to do it. JA, welcome to the channel. I mean, at this point right now, I'm actually genuinely worried that Wilson won't have a lot of trade value. Like, he's playing... Like, if he doesn't get it together in the second half of this season and at least play well individually, then we're going to have a problem with that trade. Damian Williams? Okay, then who's the Williams on the Chiefs? No, I don't drink Ayush. I don't drink any alcohol. Yeah, that's true, Daniel. DK just needs to learn how to channel his energy in the right ways. Right now, he's not. Right now, he's letting things get the better of him emotionally, but he'll learn, I think. Daryl Williams. Okay, thank you. Too many Williamses. I'm 31. Berg show. Drinking's expensive. Like, how much money do I save by drinking water every night instead of beer? That's got to be a lot of money, right? Okay, see you later, Josue. J.C. Jackson to me would not make sense if you do a full rebuild, because a full rebuild implies you're not going to be good for a year or two at least. Will, she's been doing really good. No, Jalen, my dad lives with me. It's a complicated thing that I'm not really going to get into, but my dad runs a business that requires him to have a certain building that is on this property, right? And so he needs to keep it. So I bought it years ago, and it's my house now, even though it used to be his house. He didn't want it. He decided he would rather me have it, so I bought it, and it's now my house, and he still lives here because he needs it. That's basically the quick and dirty summary. I used to live up in Bellevue, which was kind of nice because like everything is 5 minutes away from you up there. But some things happened, and it just no. My landlord was selling his house, so I had to move out. So I would have had to move somewhere else in Bellevue, and then I was just like, at that point, I was working somewhere else, far away from Bellevue anyway. So I was like, well, I may as well move back home. Do you think Shane could be our head coach? Not right now, maybe one day. Oh, that's cool, Joaquin. Espinoza. Introverted tree. Yeah, I remember you. Any full rebuild free agent signings you would like? Teron Armstead's the guy. I had a really good living arrangement in Bellevue, but that was a unicorn. Once the guy sold his house and I had to move out, anything I would have done would have cost way more. And I was like, what's the point? I don't even work in Bellevue anymore. So, like, I may as well go somewhere else. I mean, AG Hawks, yeah, the offensive line was bad, but Wilson made a ton of bad plays independent of the offensive line. Yes, I do, Will, but we've been in a holding formation on that. Uh, Not 100% sure when we're going to pick back up again, but we still have it, yeah. Man, Frank Clark just got held like a mother. B-Tech, it's not just a few bad performances. And by the way, this is football. There are only 17 games a year. One bad performance means a lot more. This isn't like baseball where there are 162 games. Like, one bad game actually means a lot. One bad game can derail your season. I don't understand that argument. Like, if this was baseball and Mike Trout had a few bad games and Angels fan was like, we need to get rid of Mike Trout, I would be like, you're stupid. But a, a better offensive system could maybe work some of that stuff out with Wilson, but he needs to also be willing, and I just don't see the willingness. I don't. He like that's interception to Amos. He had guys underneath. Just take the underneath stuff. Keep the game alive. I don't need a touchdown every play. He's like, what's that guy on the Yankees who has a batting average of like 180 and all he does is either hit home runs or strike out? Does anybody know who I'm talking about? The guy in baseball. He's on the Yankees right now. He's got a terrible batting average, and he basically just swings for the fences every single time. Odor, thank you. Actually, the whole Yankees lineup is made up of guys who just swing for the fences every play. Oh yeah, Gallo does too. Yeah, the whole Yankees lineup does that. Like the whole Yankees lineup is just like swing out of my shoes, swing out of my shoes, swing out of my shoes. Yeah. I mean, DK needs to chill out, but you can't say that that dude does not care. He definitely cares. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jordan. He did a lot of stuff today that had nothing to do with that finger. Nothing to do with that finger. I got these I got this box of gum in the from Amazon earlier this week. And I love this packaging. It's like this Trident stuff, but it opens up like this. It looks like an old school like cigarette holder. I love this thing. This is such like I was trying out Extra and they just have like the traditional cigarette box style. This is like a fancy cigarette holder. I like that. Yeah, Benny, that's what I'm starting to come around on. I don't know what gum Pete Carroll uses, but I'm I'm not going to ask him because if I had a chance to ask Carroll a question, I would ask different questions than that. No, Rev Rye, I never played football. I played basketball. I'm a fuzz. Offensive linemen pretty routinely play well into their mid to late 30s. Dwayne Brown turning into a pumpkin like this is kind of a surprise to me, honestly. Like there are a lot of really good offensive linemen who play great until they're like 38 or 39. I really liked Zach Wilson coming out of the draft, but so far it hasn't been good. Yeah, charisma. He better look bummed. I mean, it's not that today is really Pete's fault per se, but he's still the head coach. Like this is his team. Everything on this team comes back to him. Carroll choose juicy fruit. I like juicy fruit, but yeah, it's cheap as hell. I still really like Trevor Lawrence. I believe in Trevor Lawrence. I think that that situation in Jacksonville is not indicative of who he is. And also, in my plan, you have your next quarterback in 2023. You get your next quarterback in 2023. So by then, Armstead's going to be like 32 or something. That's not that bad at all. Because the time to strike with a rookie QB is when he's on that rookie contract. So you really only have a 3 or 4 year window. So you want to make sure you're ready to go. You're ready to just go when you get that next quarterback. Like you don't want to get the quarterback and be like, okay, now we got to build the whole offensive line, we got to build the defense, we got to get receivers. Like no, you want to be ready to go by year 1 or year 2 with that quarterback. So Armstead makes sense from that perspective. Have you guys ever had Big League Chew? That stuff's disgusting, but I kind of like it. I don't have a QB target right now. Seahawks analysis. I need time. I don't know who the QBs are going to be, but there are always going to be good QBs in every draft. I cannot blow bubbles with bubble gum. This Trident is bubble gum. So I got it and I cannot figure out how to blow a bubble. I don't understand why something so simple is so hard. At least we're getting rid of those bandwagon fans. I mean, any team that wins is going to have bandwagon fans. That's the cost of doing business. Matt Corral out of Old Miss. I'm not familiar. But trust me, guys, that whole we can't get rid of this quarterback because who are we going to replace him with thing is why the Cowboys kept Tony Romo until he fell apart and they won nothing with him. Okay? In a different timeline, the Cowboys would have traded Romo. Romo would have gone to a team with talent. They could have competed for Super Bowls, and the Cowboys could have rebuilt in a correct manner and actually probably been really good early in the 2010s. So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this kind of goes for a lot of different teams, but I think some. I think it would be reasonable to say that some Seahawks fans are more like Wilson fans. Like we do have some Seahawks fans who are more Wilson fans than team fans. And I understand that those people want to keep Wilson because they prioritize having Wilson over winning even, but that's not me. I was a fan way before Wilson. I'm not a fan of these players. And remember, guys, you don't have to get that rookie QB on in the first round. Wilson was a third round pick, and we got a lot out of him. Why would DK get suspended? I've seen people do way worse than that and not get suspended. I don't think he's going to get suspended. Remember, DK is kind of a face of the league right now. He's in every other commercial. He's trying to become like the new Aaron Rodgers. All right, touchdown Chiefs. Chiefs look good. Hmm. I mean, the game was over when he got ejected. I'm not going to act like that ejection mattered. Now, one day he's going to get ejected when it does matter, and it's not going to be okay. I think Kimdichie was a healthy scratch. Did Collier do anything? I feel like I saw his number a couple times. Would you re-sign Woods? Not if we're rebuilding. I was rooting for Collier hard today, though. It's kind of like Rudy or something. You just find yourself rooting for these guys who should not be out there. Yeah, I noticed that, TJ, but that's not going to show up in the stat sheet. Yeah. Like I said, here's the thing. If you trade Wilson, you have a lot of flexibility. You can attack the offensive line in the draft or free agency. You can attack the defense in the draft or free agency. You can attack. You have options. You don't have options if you keep Wilson. If you keep Wilson, then you're just stuck to like, okay, we have to get Armstead, have to get Austin Corbett, have to get uh, a really good right tackle in the second round, and you got to do all these things. in a very defined way. That's the thing. If you trade Wilson, then you can maybe say, okay, let's draft Evan Neal from Alabama. Mufuz, I'm telling you right now, I would rather watch a rebuilding Seahawks team than this. I would rather watch a rebuilding Seahawks team go 3-6 than this Seahawks team go 3-6. This 3-6 is in service of nothing. A 3-6 with a rebuilding team would be in service of something. I promise you guys. A Noctivagant. David, according to advanced stats, we are one of the best tackling teams in the league. Like all year, apparently we have the third best tackling rate and third lowest missed tackle rate. So apparently we're not as bad as I think. I don't think so, Sambith. Now, I mean, when Trey Flowers left and got replaced by Sidney Jones, I don't think anything really got better. Sidney Jones was worse. We actually needed somebody good there, and we now have somebody who's actually pretty good. Honestly, the funny thing is, like Norton seems like he's actually pushing the right buttons right now in a weird way. Like the way our defense came out schematically was pretty good. But I just want to start over. I want something new, okay? My next 2 years, ideally, go watch my red pill video. I like this AFC West animation thing. That was pretty good. That was funny. I mean, if we end up going like 6-11, something's got to change then, right? Like you can't run it back. Maybe it'll be something bad, like you just trade Wilson and keep everything else, but something will happen. Thank you, Noctivagant. I appreciate the support. No, right guy, I don't. We are clearly good enough to beat teams like the Lions, the Texans, the Cardinals if they're playing their backups. I don't think there's anybody to blame for today except Wilson, but I don't know if he's the biggest problem overall, but it's not working. Maybe Revry. It depends on how Wilson plays down the stretch. Okay, Matthew, I mean, we could, but why even talk about it is my thing. We just got blanked today. We just got blanked today hardcore. Why even talk about winning out? Why even talk about making the playoffs? Let it happen if it happens, and then we'll talk about it. That's my position. Let's talk about the actual reality of being 3-6, last place in the division, got shut out for the first time in 10 years. Like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what actually happened, not what we hope is about to happen. I can't do it. I can't blow a damn bubble. Packers defense is probably just good. I mean, charisma, they kind. What if Wilson demands a trade? Which he got halfway to doing last offseason, by the way. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, he gave the team a list of teams he would be okay being traded to. Antonio Garcia, welcome to the channel. So, what's stopping him from doing it this season? He's going to have more urgency to do it. How many games are left, JDM? All right, 4 minutes left in this game. By the way, the stream will be going off when this game ends, and I'll be back on later on Persona. But yeah, I'm gonna go until this game ends. That's typically how we do things here. I mean, we know how the game went with Wilson, so knowing that, yeah, we should have gone with Gino. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about that. Dropping linemen into coverage worked a few times. That was not a bad thing today. It actually kind of got the job done. I did not hate that. I hate it in general, but today it seemed like we actually were able to execute on that a little bit. Well, Noctivagant, Carroll is responsible for the bad drafting and bad player development and bad front office type decisions. Wilson's responsible for not being able to do anything except take kill shots all game. Always trying to go for the hero play. Shane, I don't know. Look, Shane is a rookie play caller. I'm not going to kill him for anything right now. I think that would be stupid. And I don't even think he did that bad today. Like maybe we abandoned the run a little too much, but there are tons of plays out there where receivers get open and Wilson just chucks it 50 yards down the field into double coverage. Touchdown Raiders. I mean, go watch the Amos play again. He's got two guys in the flat that he can check it down to and get a first down. I would take Watson if the legal stuff got resolved, but he probably is like a sexual offender. He probably like is actually like a sex offender, so it would probably come up again. So I don't think that's going to be on the table. Okay, Gold Bullet, I understand the offense in general needs more time. Like these offensive linemen are not the Waldron type, I don't think. They're too slow. However, there's a fundamental issue with Wilson's mentality of playing football, I think. And that should be able to change by now. Maybe the whole team won't get it, but Wilson should be able to get it, and he's moving away from it. See you later, Noctivagant. Appreciate it. No, Derek Carr. I don't think Damian Lewis is a disaster, but he's definitely fallen off. And we do this over and over again. Like, how many times over the last few years have we moved a player off of their position and paid for it? It keeps happening. It keeps happening. It's ridiculous. Like earlier this year, we tried to get away with moving DJ Reed to the other side of the defense, and he sucked for 3 games, more or less, and then we moved him back and he's good again. And it's like, well, why'd you move him in the first place? Jordan Brooks spending his first 2 seasons playing out of position. We still don't know if he's good. We still don't know if Jordan Brooks is good or not because he's not playing his real position. Well, Daniel, the example that worked was J.R. Sweezy. We moved him from the defensive line to offensive guard, and he was okay. But every time we try to do other stuff with these players, it goes badly. I mean, I think Jordan Brooks will be okay too. I think Jordan Brooks can be a good player. I don't like the pick, but he's going to be good. But we don't know yet. Depressed Jets fan. I'm going to eat food, and that's about it. Oh, oh. Well, Alex, part of that was because we couldn't sustain any drives, but part of it was we probably did abandon the pass a little too much. The thing is, for me, the weakness of the Packers' defense right now is their pass defense because they were missing Jair and Zadarius Smith. So you do want to pass the ball on them. I get that. That's really all I can say about it. Does anybody know where you can watch replays of full NFL games, by the way? Like the whole game, not just like the supercut of the plays or the highlights, the whole game, like as it was broadcast. Does anybody know where you can do that? I'm trying to I'm trying to do something. Yeah, I know their secondary's still good, but you got to attack what you can attack. NFL Game Pass. That's the thing you pay for, right? Okay. I've thought about getting that thing, but I still haven't done it yet. Okay, yeah, Charisma, but the thing is, those games don't get uploaded until much later on. Well, yeah, our run defense did good. Our run defense did good in that game. I mean, the Packers just have a good defense, But that's not an excuse to not score any points. That means they're going to win some of the battles against you, but you got to win some of the other battles. Okay? Like, you can't just go, oh, they have a good defense, so we're going to score 0 points and be okay with it. No. Eat my butt. Go to hell. Shut up, shut up. Go to hell. Kiss my butt. Kiss my butt. Okay, Chiefs are running the clock out. Gold Bullet, I like killing more offhand. All right. Chiefs kneeling the ball out. No, Stokes shouldn't get DROY. Parsons should get DROY. Parsons is killing it. Parsons has like Parsons has more pressures, I think, than the entire Seahawks defense combined. Like Parsons is killing it. All right, guys, I'm done. I'm out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. Brutal game today. I don't have very much positive to say, although there are a few positive things you can take away from it. Um, season's season's not over, but I kind of feel like that it is. So I will be back later tonight to stream Persona, but that's really all I got for tonight. Thank you to everybody who showed up. If you haven't already, please like the stream before I turn it off. And yeah, videos tomorrow.